Peace and power. You're now tuned in to ReadYO Radio. That's ReadYO Radio. And this is episode 47, titled Financial Literacy. I'm one of your co-hosts, Mindful B.
Kojo Lee.
Info Key.
We have a phenomenal guest, as always, on our show today. Glad to have you, Mr. Cole.
Thank you.
And want to please tell the people a little bit about yourself and why you're here to talk about financial literacy.
Okay. My name is James Cole Jr. I'm a community activist. I'm a person of simple means, and I believe that I'm committed to working for the community at large, the indigenous community at large. I believe that the more information that we have, the more that we learn, the community, the more that the community becomes informed, it'll be self-sufficient. And it would need less help from the outsiders. It would be more productive, more powerful, more muscle, more might. I believe that the community at large need people that think like I do. And I'm with a small group, and that we are, once again, very committed to facilitate the growth of the inner city.
Thank you for that. And you're also, I see that you're like very, very, very humble. You're also you studied law, right?
Yes.
And but you're not an attorney.
No.
And so can you communicate that to our listeners and viewers?
There are two types of legal individuals. The most common type is the attorney at law. Now, the attorney at law, that's the ones that people call the most. Attorney at law is a officer of the court. The prosecutor is an officer of the court. The judge is an officer of the court. In substance, these people are not your friends. In substance, I'm a lawyer in fact. I'm registered with the state of Michigan. I'm an officer of the people. I'm not beholden to the court. Attorney at law is beholden to the court. And so really, when you walk into the courtroom, you're walking into a losing situation, because they're all officers of the court, and you're beholden to the court and to the law, to the judge. And so you got two parts of law. You got trier of the case, trier of the fact. A lot of the judges, to me, illegally, are both trier of the case and trier of the fact. You can only be one. You're going to either try the case or you're going to try the fact. The prosecutor's job is to try the facts. But I've been in a lot of courtrooms. I'm in one now. The judge is trying the facts and trying the case. So you're at a distinct disadvantage. And so the attorney that represents you, if he's a court-appointed attorney, he's working against your best interests. He does not have the proper discovery. He has a bad jury pool that they choose from. And they don't properly, the judge voir dire the jury. That means to make the jury tell the truth, so when you set them on the case to be tried. And they only ask about 10 questions to voir dire the jury, and it's against your best interest, and then you wind up with a bunch of suburbanites. And so they have really, in substance, 100% conviction rate when you walk in their courtroom, especially 36th District Court. There'd be 1,000 people out there in the morning trying to get in there. Nobody wins. People say, well, but the court, parse the language, couch the language in such a way. They say, well, we only convict about 50%. Here's how that works. You walk in that courtroom, and the prosecutor says, well, I got 15 counts on you. About a candy store robbery. Count 1, you thought about it. Count 2, you got in your car. Count 3, you drove to the candy store. Count 4, you got out of your car. Count 5, you pull out a pistol. Count 6, you robbed a man. Count 7, you fled and eluded. Count 8, you sped away. Count 9, you kept the money. So you got about 15 or 20 counts, and the judge said, I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to knock off 4 of those counts. So that right there, that's 40% non-conviction. You're going to convict on the other 6 counts. And so since I'm knocked off 4 of these counts, I'm going to only give you 30 years in prison.
Wow.
That's the way the officers of the court work. But me, an officer of the people, they got to fight on their hands.
So we got this whole other side of the financial literacy, which is the law.
It's a money-making scheme.
Well, for the layman, man, is it possible to kind of give a more, maybe I missed it, example of what is trying the case versus trying the facts?
Trying the facts, okay. But a prosecutor lays out the facts, or evidence. And he said, this right here, did this wrong here, and we got a videotape of him and all that kind of stuff. And he's trying that. And the trier of the case is a person who listens, like a jury or a judge. He's listening to what because they're listening to what the prosecutor facts bring out. So he's trying the case on it. But if he's speaking on the bench, he's lawyering on the bench. That's illegal. That's called bartry. They do it every day. Nobody challenges on them unless you get somebody like me. You cannot. That's an illegal action. But he gets away with it every day because it's not challenged. It's called the raise or waive doctrine. If you don't raise that issue, then you waive that issue. If you don't bring it up, then it exists. It becomes fact in law.
Just like silence.
Silence. That's another thing. They don't tell you all the information. You know what that's called? They don't use it. It's called silent fraud. Yes. The prosecutor and that, you're not getting the proper discovery and all that kind of stuff. That's silent fraud. That's a 10-year felony for them. But they don't ever bring that issue up. The attorney's not going to bring it up because he's the officer of the court. So you don't have much of a chance when you walk in that courtroom. You got to go in there with the right person. You got to talk to the lawyer and get a feel of how he's, what kind of spunk does he have when he's speaking to you about how he's going to try to save you and kind of slip some advice to you. They don't get the proper advice and stuff like that. And they don't want you to do certain things. And they don't want you to bring out this issue. And they insist on using information and using the wrong language to mislead the people. Because a lot of the language is kind of difficult. I use a lot of Latin because it's shorter when you write a lot of Latin instead of, if I used all English, instead of writing 10 pages, I'm writing about 6 or 7 pages with my Latin in there, Things like, for example, inter alia. That means among other things. If I want to bring in a bunch of other people, I say in the alios. That means other people. I'm bringing other people. Yeah. And then, that kind of stuff. There's little trick things that they use in there, which I believe anybody can learn. You just go to Google and stuff like that.
Of course. So you're bringing this whole background of law to the field of financial literacy.
Right. We need to know about money.
And so, so Kojo, I wanted you to, we want to share how we even, get on this topic of financial literacy in the first place, and why is this important to even be discussed? Like, why are we having this show?
Well, again, if we understand the foundation of our show is to be self-sufficient and to provide information that help us prepare in the world we live in. It's a financial world. And furthermore, finance is dealing with numbers. So now we're dealing with math. And if you're literate, you can read things. You understand the language they're speaking. So if you walk into this financial world without being able to understand numbers and math, you're done. You're not going to make it anywhere. The time you spend at work, they give you money for, you're going to misuse it because you don't understand the equation. You don't understand how it's equating to your life. If you spend your life doing something and then what you get from it, you don't know what to do with it, you're not going to get very far. So it's important to understand, it's important to be literate first and foremost. And it's not just reading words, it's reading signs, understanding the energy that's coming at you and knowing how to move it to make it better for you and your people. So this is why we must understand financial literacy, and we also must understand be literate. Whatever, as deep as you can become literate, be literate, because we're talking about literacy, we're talking about writing, and it goes back to the same topic. So this is why we as people, on any area in the world, if you go to China, you must understand the language. If you go anywhere, you must understand the language. So this is what we're doing here today.
I appreciate you sharing that. I wanted to kick it over to Info Keith and just kind of bring in this spirit of self-sufficiency and preparedness, like to be able to share, like how does this even relate to being prepared?
And so right now, I mean, we already did a show about fiat currency and that kind of thing, and we understand that this is a fiat currency, but right now the world is operating on that fiat currency. So we must understand that, or else we will be further enslaved than we already are, because we are already enslaved by the dollar, but it'll be worse if we don't understand it, because then it'll be used against us. Our ignorance will be used against us. So it's important, while we still can learn as much as we can about the currency that we operate in and the petrodollar and what is fiat currency, all of that kind of stuff. I mean, we need to know that.
And I'm coming right back to you, Baba Cole, because we want to talk about what exactly is financial literacy. We're doing our terms, literacy, fiat currency, and I want to actually read the definition, the Dexter definition, and then allow you to expound on what is financial literacy, so we can all. You bring in the law background, which is a lot of defining,
Right.
what and make sure we all coming from the same source, and when we're defining things.
It clears
So
the mind.
Exactly. And so we're talking about financial literacy, right? Episode 47.
Right.
And it says financial literacy is the ability to understand how money works in the world, how someone manages to earn or make it, how that person manages it, and the it is money, how he or she invests it or turn it into more, and how that person donates it to help others.
Right.
This is a larger scope of financial literacy as it's defined, but we also see that there's two words, and then Brother Kojo kind of broke them down. Literacy means being able to read and write, and financial, dealing with transactions.
Right.
So being able to see and be able to clearly assess the transactions that happen in our lives is what being financially literate is, basically what it's communicating to us. Can you expound or clarify from your perspective what is financial literacy, or things you want to pull out of that definition?
Yes, when you're dealing with financial literacy, you're dealing with the term money. Money could be anything. Money, we print money. All of us print money, right? Now, I printed this ticket here. It says $50 on that ticket. This thing that's a $50 negotiable instrument. This is a money. This is really $50 because it's written out on paper. When you write anything down that involves a value, that is money. It can be a check. All checks are money. All credit cards are money. All debit cards are that's money. It depends on what kind of value you put on it. Once you write the value of that is it's called a negotiable instrument. That's what they call money in the banking system. They call it a negotiable instrument. And so when you write something like that, say you got a bunch of tickets, and whatever that ticket you write on that ticket, that's like a $50 bill. Same difference. There's no difference. This is a $50 bill here. So if you lose it, that means you got to come up with $50 to place it. So we're dealing with. I don't want to get too complicated, but when you say dollar, it's like an instrument. A dollar is an instrument for a promise to pay. And once you write that on there, you can take Well, tissue is kind of, I can use toilet paper or tissue, something like that, but you want something that's durable. You can take a piece of paper and write on there, and I can say, I owe John Doe $30. And he can turn this in, I sign my name to it, and date it. And if he turns that in to me, I got to pay. Once I sign my name on there, you can write it on anything. You can write it to a bank and give them account number and stuff on that bank. They would have to pay that person. Don't care what it looks like. Go negotiation, that's the law. Don't care what it looks like. If anybody gets you into trouble, I guess you could cause some problems, but they got to put in writing that you denied it. Once you denied it, that means I gave you the money, you got to give me the money back. You denied it. Like people pay their rent and the man sends you, once he receives the check for the rent and he sends the check back, that rent's paid. You got your money back, that rent's paid. See, then that'll stand up in the court of law. Especially when you got to, follow, you got to track through the post office and stuff like that. If it's sent back, if it's sent to them, track that stuff is paid. He refused to take the money, took it illegally because you had a prior agreement that you would pay on the 5th or the 1st of the month, something like that, and you did it. Now he wants you out of the department, so he sends that check back. He says he won't take your money anymore. That thing is paid. And then you put a declaration of validity. You write it up, send him a love letter, certified love letter.
I'm not sending any love letters.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You tell him you appreciate it, but he's, that debt for this month is clear.
And that's actually what the gold standard was, right?
That's right.
Like they give you a bill while they hold the gold. And they say you have $50 worth of gold in the bank.
The organs are a bank.
All that was a piece of paper.
Yeah, it's an exchange. And
Exchange.
So I guess what we're getting at is that the financial literacy kind of starts with what is money, right?
Yeah, what is money?
And is money the same thing?
It can be anything that you write.
Currency.
Coupon.
Yeah.
It's money.
Coupon is money.
They take it at the store.
Yeah, coupon is money. A food stamp, that's money. Any kind of coupon. What do you call a theater ticket?
Mm-hmm.
A $10 theater ticket is $10.
Deposit.
And see, you printed the theater. It's your theater. You got to play in there. We print tickets. I printed this on my printer. See, I got a good printer.
Mm-hmm.
And I printed that. That's a $50. That's a $50 bill right there.
Yeah, we're gonna get more into the actual financial fair that you all are working on.
We're trying to teach people what that is. That's what we want to do.
And want to kick it to Kojo. Can you share what are you hearing? Like what is financial literacy to you? Like in your your background, you do design, you do spiritual work. Like what can you also add to this conversation about what financial literacy is?
The thing to me that is understanding media and medium. The thing that what converts one thing to another is what money is. It's what we do as this radio show. We take information and we convey it to an audience. So we are a medium for this information. And so from looking at life from a spiritual perspective, I always look at the essence of something, the energy of something. And so money is really, being financial literate, again, just understanding how do we interact with one another. How is my life converted into something physical that I can then exchange for some other good or service. Mm-hmm. And again, if I don't understand that process, then I would say I have 100% likelihood of not getting where I'm trying to go in life. Mm-hmm. And that's a spiritual matter. Now I'm dealing with not understanding me. I'm understanding how you think. I'm not understanding what happens every day. Why do people wake up and go to this building to create this money? I don't understand what the banking system is actually doing, how they created this. I was just talking to a coworker earlier today about the fact that at one point in time, it used to say U.S. dollar on that bill. Now it says Federal Reserve note.
Yeah.
So it's just a note. It's just a promissory note. And in the depth of what me and the gentleman was talking about earlier is understand that this U.S. This Federal Reserve has no value in it. It has a bank account with $0 in it, but they keep giving you IOU saying they'll pay you back. And so this is what I think about when I think of financial literacy is if you really understand the language, you start seeing beyond the illusion. Yeah. You can see where the game is, and then you can use the game for your advantage. Yeah. Because you can't, in my opinion at least, there's no way to really get to where you're trying to go without using what you have. I haven't found a way to just all of a sudden, boom, I'm here. You got to take from where you are, understand what the bank is doing, understanding how you spend your time and compress it into this dollar, and then you have to use that for your freedom. You have to use that to liberate yourself. Mm-hmm. Because if not, you're just going to get very angry at the system. You're going to get mad that you're being used and abused, and that's just going to be the end of the game. There's going to be nothing beyond it. There's going to be anger and frustration. So to me, financial literacy is the study of it so that you can practice something that's going to heal you.
Mm-hmm. And that's our, that's our legacy. That's our heritage as the original people on this earth, to be able to take what it is that we have presently before us and be able to alchemize it into what it is that we need, And so, Info Keith, what's your take on financial literacy?
Well, I always come from the preparedness aspect, but we have to look at the fiat currency, the history of fiat currency, and how every fiat currency historically has failed, and how this system is set up to fail. Because if you print up $100 and you say, I'm going to give you this $100, but you owe me $110, that other $10 does not exist. So you can never pay me back because that extra $10 that you owe me is non-existent.
Let's take it back. Can you make it a little more simple? Like, can you use $1 as an example, like the first dollar?
Right. And that's how our system is. It started off with whatever, $1, and I loaned you out the $1, and I said, you owe me back 10%. So you owe me back $1.10, but that 10 cents is not existent. So you can never pay me back. So you will always be indebted to me. And that's our current financial system now. So it's built to fail. Like, that's why they say, we're $18 trillion in debt. How can you pay back $18 trillion? And who are we $18 trillion in debt to? That money does not exist. So it's bound to fail. It's just our confidence and our resources is what holds the system up. Well, our resources, because it's really not our resources.
That was like finance 101 in like 20 seconds.
What they don't teach you in school.
Info Keith is breaking it down. Yes. And so now that we've heard from everybody, I want you to talk about what are some of the steps and what are some of the steps people can take to actually become financially literate, and kind of fold into like what's going to be talked about at this financial fair on the 29th of November.
Well, I think what's most important is when say that you have a finite ability to create money. Now there's two types. To me, you got two types. You got income and compensation. Income and compensation. I'm not a super expert on money, but I've reasoned, I understand it. You got income. Some people work for an income, right? They gotta file income tax papers. Some people don't have an income. They are compensated for what they do. Mm-hmm. You gotta make a claim of compensation. Depends on how you write it up. The Internal Revenue's got a compensation form, but they don't tell them. Mm-hmm. People don't, they don't know that. Mm-hmm. And you got I can't think of the number right now, the form, but it's compensation. That's not you pay income tax on
W-9.
Compensation.
It's a W-9 instead of a W-2.
Okay, yeah. And so you're paying, you're being compensated for what you're doing. You're not. That's not an income. So you're not liable for income tax on that if you stay in that mode, the compensation mode. So people got to be thinking about what they're doing. And then too, you got money. Say, if you got, I'm gonna try to keep it simple, $10, and you got, you need transportation. So you can buy two cars. You can buy the $12 car or the $8 car. You only got $10 now. So you gonna buy what you gonna buy? You gonna buy $8 car or the $12 car? Now you got it. Now then But you like that big one that look like an elephant that gets 2 miles to the gallon. You want to buy that one, that's $15, but you only got 8, dollars. So you're gonna really go into the hole, because when you're buying your fuel and stuff like that, and you have a limited amount of compensation if you're doing it that way, or a limited amount of income, then you're gonna lose. You're not thinking financially. You're not being financially literate. Now there's a little car that gets 80 miles to the gallon for $7. That leaves you with $1, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the car you want to be thinking about. Now, of course, your girlfriend might not like it so much if you bought the $7 car. She might be upset. But at least you can go over there and see her.
Mm-hmm.
See her ride off with the guy with the $12 car. There's some choices. We got to make some smart choices about what our money can do. And we got to write. That's what financial literacy. We write it down and say, you got $10. This is what we do. And you say, if you get $80 a month, you cannot spend $150 a month.
Mm.
You got to try to spend $79 and had $1 for backup. That's rainy day fund. People pray for rain, but they don't want to step in the mud, do they? So you got to be, that's financial literacy. You got to compose yourself in such a way as to figure out your limits.
Mm-hmm.
And then, too, when you're thinking about money, you got 2 modes of thought, like my daddy used to say. You can either buy something that costs money, or you're going to buy something that makes money. Now you want to think. That's when you become financially literate. You want to buy things that make money. See, when you're looking at the purchase of something, now you say, is that going to make me some money, or is that going to cost me some money? I love this $80,000 Cadillac. I can either get that or buy the $20 ice cream truck. The $20,000 ice cream truck. Now the Cadillac is nice. I can get more girlfriends with that one. But the ice cream truck, I can get a bunch of pennies, nickels, and dimes with that. So I think I'm gonna take my money, a couple of dollars, and buy the ice cream truck. Even though it needs to be painted, I got a paintbrush in the garage and a bucket of paint. I'll paint it white. And now I got an income. Now you got compensation coming in for real now.
Mm-hmm.
Because you giving somebody an ice cream bar and they giving you $1. So you got to be thinking like that. Is what I'm gonna buy? I'm gonna buy something. But I see people in my block buying the Cadillac.
Mm-hmm.
They're not buying the ice cream truck, and then they want to know why they can't afford to put gas in. That car sitting down there, you can't afford to buy gas for it because he's paying out money. He's not buying things that make money. Always buy something to make money first. You got to think like that. That's financial literacy. That's a start. It's a lot of points on that, but it depends on how you ask the question. You ask the question, then you think. See, I'm always thinking about finances and things like that. I'm not really an expert, just a rank amateur, but I've had some experiences of dealing with these people around this country, and family and brother and stuff like that. We had some tractor trailers and some limousines and things like that, and we were able to parlay that into a few dollars.
Alchemize.
Yes, right. And so, they've been thinking about, like my daddy said, always figure out what makes money. Love, you used to say to me.
That's good.
And that's the level of indoctrination too, because if you listen to the music that tell you, oh, I got an $80,000 car.
Yeah.
Then you watch the TV that tells you, oh, you need this $80,000 car. Then you see it in the movie.
Yeah.
They driving in an $80,000 car.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I want that $80,000 car.
Yeah.
Even though I only have $20,000.
Yeah, I mean, you get 3-year-olds.
But they're gonna get that ice cream truck that make all that money every day.
You get the ice cream.
You got income every day.
You get the ice cream with the 3 girls, and the 3 girls cost $80,000.
Yeah.
Already in debt. You ain't talking about feeding people. You ain't talking about gas.
Yeah.
And so I want to. You went exactly where I was going to go, Info Keith, with the media and how the media is really, setting generations upon generations up for just debt slavery and just death, really.
Yes.
And you said we want this $80,000 car, and I like to introduce another word, and people really, my thoughts are that people really think, especially some of the younger unmentored youth and now adults, think that they need that. Like they're not a man if they don't have this thing that they've seen, this manufactured version of a man that they've seen on television that isn't real.
That's right.
They're gonna walk off the set in a Pinto, you know, hop right in his car. And but yes, they think it's deeper than want. They think that they need. They've convinced themselves that they need this whatever symbol to prove their worth. And so I'm gonna kick it over to Kojo because your spirituality is kind of is your thing. This is a spiritually rooted illness, you know. And I just wanted to maybe have you talk about maybe that side of what we need to deal with.
To me, the solution goes back to iniquity, and us as people have always had our worth in a title we were given. You know, I'm the smartest guy in my village, and so therefore, when a problem comes up, people come to me. Or I'm the fastest, so you need to go hunting. You're gonna take me with you, or whatever. I'm the elder, and so I have the most experience, and so people come talk to me. I tell the stories. That is gone, and nowadays it's not about a title. It's about some material illusion, and if we don't understand that, we don't teach our children early in life what the pitfalls are, they're going to fall into them almost guaranteed, because children, again, we have an innate ability to want to have empathy with one another and to share memories and fit in somewhere, belong. And even if we do express things to our children, there's still a chance they're going to go into that world and try to see what it's about. So it goes to show that it's a powerful brainwashing is what it really is. And it's an attack on, you know, we're saying, we're using these words, oh, the kids want these things, but do the kids really want these things? Or is the media wanting these things so strongly that they convince the children to get it too? So what do the children want? Look at them when they come out. Do they want it at birth? No. So maybe the children don't really want these things. Maybe the environment they live in create this energy that gives the illusion that this is what they want. But when they're born, they're not thinking. We buy our son, my son, toys. He'll throw the toy away and play with the box. So what do they really want? They want to learn. They want to grow. They want to tinker around. They want whatever they can't have. And that's in all of. We want what we can't have from a child, from when we were just an infant. And that's what they exploit. They know you can't afford the $80,000 car, but they know as a child you want what you can't have. So you're gonna watch the commercial. You're gonna watch your favorite artist driving it, and then you're gonna want it because you can't have it. So they play on that. They use that to. So again, the solution is to ensure we reinforce this message, and we do it on a large enough scale that your child has other children to play with who understand this. Because then they can belong with them. Then they can continue to grow with them. And this is why it's a collective effort. And then they'll become the wisest person or whatever. They'll have a different title, and they'll come on a radio show and talk about
it. and so what I'm seeing, if I can just share, is we're kind of painting a picture of this downward spiral of starts with lack of, like, probably the parent not really having proper financial education, and then teaching the kid, and then maybe not teaching the kid and allowing the TV to teach the kid, and parents don't really look at the TV as an educator, and so this is kind of spiraling downhill of poor financial investments. And I like to think of everyone as an investor. Everyone's investing in something.
Absolutely.
And you may just be investing in the companies that are destroying us. Or you may be investing in, and even just time itself. Not to get too far off topic, but everybody invest in something. Everybody is an investor, and so this one side of, we've all seen those pictures where one side is like chaos and one side is like prosperity and heaven or whatever. And so I'm looking at this one side as this spiraling down, excessive more greed and never ending debt, and then this other side of what. Let's paint the picture of what it looks like. This other side looks like of financial literacy of youth that are educated about what money is, what financial literacy is, and then to me it starts with like learning about money, then learning about budget.
Right.
Like you were saying, learning about savings, and then that goes to the family, and then that goes to the community, and the community is learning about circulating
that money, right?
And so, with that as a framework, I wanted you to be able to kind of dig in a little bit deeper on how to. You mentioned something about limit and figuring out the limit.
Yeah,
how does the average person figure out the limit?
Okay. Well, first of all, he needs to redirect his thinking to the point where he needs to believe in himself, to the point where he's going to start investing in himself. And then he needs to coagulate like minds, people that are thinking similar to him, and that's called a team. And so that team is going to take their little investments and invest into this pool. That pool is going to grow. And that team is going to grow, and it's going to become, there's going to be struggle. There's going to be a better foundation. There's going to be more muscle involved, financial muscle involved in the neighborhood. The money is going to stay in the neighborhood because it's circulating among this team. And so what happens is as the team gets stronger, it has more control, more political control. It has more banking control because everybody's got their $2 in this team of about 15 to 20 people. That's called leadership. You're directing it, and then everybody had on a role of leadership. They circulate this leadership role. Everybody gets a chance to enjoy this leadership role and share the function of being the ability to think as a group. Because if you just think as an individual, you already invested yourself. Some people stop there and become selfish. They start hoarding that money. Well, can nobody else use it? And they done using it, and nobody else uses it, and it doesn't work. There's no financial growth in that. So you're really stagnated by your literacy has failed you. You're not using it properly. You're losing. You don't create the kind of trust. You have to trust some people, and then there's going to be some losses. There's going to be some cheating, but you tweak your teamwork, and you make it proficient. You give it integrity. You give it honesty, and when you do that, you become strong and something that the people love, the community love, and they want to join you, become a part of your system. And it'll catch on. You become, that snowball become like a mountain.
Exactly.
Of strength, because you're rolling it around the community, and it's get bigger and bigger because it's gathering, it's become larger and larger. You have a larger foundation, and everybody's thinking similarly. And then people have their own issue. They're making smart buys. They're making smart vehicle buys. They're making smart property buys, homes and things like that. They're making wise decisions. They're not overpaying for issues, things like that. They're not overpaying for chattel and property and things. When you don't overpay, see the glory, because I've met a couple of guys, one gentleman twice. He was talking about, I'm going to put it like this, I can't exactly remember how, but this is how the story goes. He needed a light bulb for his car, right? Mm-hmm. You're not going to go to you wouldn't dare go inside AutoZone and buy that light bulb. That $3 light bulb, it's no good. He can go to Cadillac and get the $50 light bulb. That's much better. See, that kind of thinking, creates a fallacy. You're going to get the $50 light bulb. Both of them made by GE, except the $3 light bulb is sold at AutoZone, and the Cadillac got the $50 light bulb. But I want the $50 light bulb because I don't play around. I'm first class.
He might have the emblem on it.
Yeah, the emblem is on the thing. And so, And both of them burn out in 3 months.
And I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that.
So that's how they're thinking.
As we you were talking about, smart goals, and that's an actual term. We want to take a quick break, and then come back and keep digging into what does the other side of this picture look like, and keep plugging into why it's important to have more of these financial fairs like the one that you're planning on November 29th, this Sunday in Detroit from 3 to 7 p.m. And it's a wealth of information, a wealth of knowledge that's going to be shared, and the donation is $50, which is more than, just dropping just knowledge on you, just a snippet of information that you're going to be hard pressed to find.
It's going to be a $200 school for $50.
There you go. And so we're going to take a quick break. This is ReadYO Radio, episode 47, Financial Literacy. Peace.
I need P.O. I see everything crystal clear, I need P.O. I see everything crystal clear. Got the shotgun ready and it's fully loaded, pump action. Extra ammo in the bandolier, all black like a panther named Lil Papa Seal. Shout out to the ghost, feel the spirit in the air. I can feel it, I monitor. Now I know from here to Santa Monica, the cops wanna watch me through binoculars, because I'm telling you we royalty instead of commoners. New hybrids, young knockers and dominance. And what we building, oh yes, it's so prominent. Bought the same thing, come and join my conglomerate. Red, black, and green be the colors that I'm rocking with. King shit, customize my sarcophagus. Yeah, I'm on a mission and it's building black dominance. Alpha genes, plus it's melanin in me and make it obvious. And I'm proud, head high, better recognize, bitch, you ain't dealing with no ostriches. Still standing, both feet, never knees in the dirt. Never tell me I'm the GOAT like the prophet. Give pure fire, revolutionary awesomeness. Eternal flame burning bright, black power got me feeling marvelous. It's extraordinary how they marvel at my darkness. They say the flow deep, rhyme nautilus. And yeah, I'm still writing like a novelist. I got pressure on my mind, psychologist. Pressure, giving you a dose of this confidence. Got me feeling great, I think I need my own monument. When my fists held, I better acknowledge it. Power to the people, it's the slope and feel the ambience. Giving you my all till I no longer need oxygen. Even when my legs were screaming black power, bitch. Super physical, clairvoyant, performing rituals, just a forewarning. Third eye magnified, everything absorbing. We're rebelling, no performing. Super physical, clairvoyant, performing rituals, just a forewarning. Third eye magnified, everything absorbing. We rebelling, no performing. I got my third eye vision on Zoom. I'm analyzing everything in the room. Absorbing all the energy that y'all giving me. I plant the seed, watch it grow full bloom. Black harvest, yeah, that's a full moon. I'm a beast, got me hollering like a wolf. Yeah, I'm far from a sheep, long hair, yeah, resembles that wool. You a fool, still believe in that bull. My radar detected, signals on full. Alert levels high, got the bird's eye view. I'm watching from a distance, really you should too. Scan your surroundings, make sure it's all cool. And next in order, perfection resumes. Black like the universe, Big Bang Theory on boom. Skin dark like the galaxy. I'm yelling black power, they gon' hear me on Jupiter too. I'm spaced out, turn the bass down, present it to you a cappella. I'm just trying to give you what you need like Patellas. No embellish, I give you nothing but the true food for your cerebellum. Take flight like propellers, watch me aviate. The new public enemy, turn of the century. But I make it feel like 88. Fuck the White House, young NWA. How the fuck we gon' survive when minimum is the wage? Must be dealing with this haters, only filling me with rage. When I'm seeing with my eyes, I just put it on this page. Step inside this booth and then I put it on display. I made a pledge to my people to help them wake the ones still sleeping. I do it through the music, that's the way I know to reach them. Send this information through the speakers. Focus on the youth, I'm trying to reach. Super physical, clairvoyant, performing rituals, just a forewarning. Third eye magnified, everything absorbing. We're rebelling, no performing. Super physical, clairvoyant, performing rituals, just a forewarning. Third eye magnified, everything absorbing. We're rebelling, no performing.
Peace and power. We're back with ReadYO Radio. That's ReadYO Radio. And we have a special segment with our studio audience. Very excited about that. We actually have a couple questions from our studio audience. So come on up and ask your question to Mr. Cole and be able to get some answers.
All right, Mr. Cole, I would like to know exactly on the 29th of November, where are these donations going towards?
Okay.
And how will they benefit
Okay, donation. We're going to use the money donation to pay for our printing. We're going to pay for the. We got a community. We got a motorhome that we're repairing for the community, so we can pick up some people and drop them off at different locations, financial tours and things like that. We're going to fix that motorhome up for them to pick up. It'll hold about 40 people or something like that. We're going to use that to facilitate the learning skills. And we're going to go to different neighborhoods and have workshops. And we need that motorhome for that. We're going to use that money for that. And we do our printing. We have to buy the ink and stuff like this. Commercial printing about the size of a washing machine. And that's where I print this stuff out on the tickets and stuff. And so we're going to use that to facilitate our involvement with the community. We're going to use that money to see if we can kind of create small jobs for the people, so that income. We're going to try to use the money to try to influence the politicians in order to create employment. And so we're going to use that for transportation, bus repair, and flyers and things like that, in order to keep you informed, so we can be recognized as leaders and workers for the people.
That's it.
Okay. So would this be like a bank or a banking type of ordeal, so to speak?
Yes, it's going to be. The money would go into the Michigan First, like the Michigan First Credit Union. We're using that.
Okay.
There's a couple other banks. We got the First Independence Bank, but the Michigan First has been
Black-owned.
Black-owned First Independence Bank.
Okay.
And so we're gonna try to do it in such a way that the community benefits.
Right.
And that's what we're thinking about. We're gonna take our little knowledge. We're not that. We got a tiny bit of wisdom. We're gonna use that to try to keep the public's trust. We're not going to try to misuse the public's trust. That's why we fight that. We're not going to do that at all, and we want people to, if they catch us and they think that we might be doing something wrong, you bring it to our attention, and we make adjustments. We can adjust ourselves. We're flexible. We are water. You can pour us into any vessel and we will take that shape.
So this will be like a medium between the government /
Yes,
the community.
Yes, but
A liaison.
but we're gonna do it in such a way. This is not okay. That's a good point. But we're gonna do it in the common law. We're not gonna use admiralty and maritime law that they're using against us in this city of Detroit.
Right.
This is a republic. This is the Republic City of Detroit, the Republic County of Wayne, the Republic State of Michigan. This is not admiralty and maritime law. I'm no longer in the Navy.
Right.
When you're in there, see, you at their mercy. That's the way they have us now on the driver's license. So when I signed the license, I had to sign very tiny. I put UD under duress. Instead of Viet Armors. If you can get Viet Armors on there next to your signature, that's under the threat of arms. In other words,
You understand what he's saying?
You're being forced to do
sign
this in order for you to have
you
these
want the
privileges.
purpose of identity owner, not to become a part of their trust,
Identity.
to be abused by their trust techniques. See, we're trying to avoid that. We want to teach that. Now, when the banks come in, these are going to do around the neighborhood. I won't talk too much about that with the front of the banks. I don't want to get them.
I hear you.
They get angry.
I hear you.
We don't want to talk that. That's what that bus is for. We can, say I bring the bus up here, you might have a crew for me. You say, Cole, we got a crew. We got 15, 20 people.
I like that. I like that.
We take the bus, pick them up. We'll run this crew. Y'all might have an itinerary. You know?
I like that.
So we're trying to get another $1,500 to make sure the bus right. The toilet's got to be fixed in the bus. I got to go to Home Depot and buy. They got that. What do you call it? That what's the department called? Efficiency department. The little toilet. They got everything is in one. It's got the shower, the wash basin, the toilet, all in a little box, right?
Right.
You buy that unit, and you just stick that whole unit in there, and then you run your pipes. Your water tank pipe. You got a 400-gallon water tank under the bus, right?
Right.
So I see it. There's a whole vision.
Yes, the
And-
thing part of that we talking about saving, making money. You're saving money. See, that's what we
Exactly.
talking about. And when you call us, we ain't got to call Greyhound. Of course, it's not as sharp as a Greyhound bus, but it's decent. You know,
Mhm.
it's a decent motorhome, and we can pick up people and make seminars once or twice a week. Different drivers, you know.
Thank you for your question.
I think we got another question also.
Yeah, come on up. Come on up. We love having our studio audience.
My name is Eugene Baker. I was listening to you earlier. I'm a business owner also.
Okay.
I own my own business, towing and auto repair.
Okay.
I'm a master mechanic in 12 fields. Also, with my business, I was listening to you earlier about how you invest. Now, over my years, I've learned that the best thing to invest in was myself. So I went to school, learned to be a mechanic.
Okay.
And I took that knowledge and I worked on people's cars, and I'm probably one of the persons on this panel that worked on their cars. But since I invested in myself, I noticed I had a few little problems. And when I go to the bank and try to get a loan, deny.
That's right.
Deny.
That's
Every
right.
time. And I'm like, why does they keep denying me?
That's what they do.
Oh, your credit score. So what I had to do to get my credit score up? I had to ask a whole lot of questions because didn't nobody want to tell me. So when I found out my credit score was this high, I said, okay, let me try to get it up. What I got to do to get the credit score up? They say you got to make payments, do this on time, and it slowly builds it up. So I also found out personal credit and business credit, two different separate,
Yeah, it is.
and they need to be separate.
Right.
By me going to little classes and talking to people, they say, okay, keep your personal, business. I said, okay. So now that I've worked on my personal, now I got to get the business going because I want to add that to my business. That's things that I need in my business, tools and equipment to help get the business going. I invested in a tow truck. Just bought it a couple weeks ago. So
Congratulations.
that's going to bring more income in,
Yes,
plus
it
my
will.
mechanic work.
Yes.
So I need to understand a little bit more about this finance, about the personal and the business credit. So once I master that, then when I go to the bank, I need $200,000. Oh yes, sir, Mr. Baker, we can give it to you. I don't want no hassles. As long as I understand their rules on how to play the game. And I don't want to make no mistakes about it, but once I understand this, then I can know I can go get this money and put it back into the business. So what I want to ask
How would you do it? How would you go about it?
Yes.
I have a novel approach to that. I'm also a master mechanic.
Okay.
But
and a lawyer, in fact, and a financial.
yeah. And so I've trained in London on how to fix Rolls Royces. I've trained in Germany on how to do Mercedes and Volvos and stuff like that. I'm a fanatic about accuracy, but my thinking is a little different than what most people think they need to borrow the bank. You really don't need to borrow no money from the bank. It's quiet as it's kept. Now, do you ever tow truck new or used?
Used.
Good. Good. Is it gasoline or diesel?
Diesel.
Good, smart man. See, you got the good gas mileage and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Now you burning what kind of fuel are you burning? You burning bacon grease from Kentucky Fried Chicken?
Diesel.
Or you on diesel fuel? You don't want to. You ever go around there? I know they stop a lot of people from doing it. You ever go around the Kentucky Fried Chicken or McDonald's and take their grease?
The biodiesel.
No, but I did some research on it where you
Yeah.
can take the grease. Actually, some of these restaurants will give it to you for free.
Yeah, I
Divert
think
it
that a lot
over
of
to
guys sued them to
bio-
stop them from doing it.
Did they?
Yeah, the oil companies.
So how does this help?
Oh, because it
that's-
burns.
No. How does where we going help with
Oh.
his?
This thing right.
Save
Okay,
the
now
money.
you're getting that for like a quarter a gallon instead of $3 or $4 a gallon. This is a lot of money. You save a fortune. You got diesel.
Right.
Okay, now what I used to do with our cars, because I had tractor trailers too, we had those 250-gallon drums, right?
Right.
And the people was giving us to us from Bloomfield Hills and stuff like that because they quit. They were using that kind of furnace and stuff like that. And so I got home heating oil. I put that in. That's what I ran in our trucks. That saved about $1 a gallon because ain't no road tax, right? Because you're not driving. But you got to keep your mouth shut, you know. That's the real law. You can't be, you know what I'm saying? We just talking. It won't get out, I don't think. We're just talking, you know, you gotta finesse yourself into some income. But as far as borrowing money from the bank like that, I don't think so. I mean, it's my personal opinion. Because what you want to buy? You buying your own building, right?
I bought the building.
You bought the building.
Right. I need to
Okay,
quit.
did you pay too much for it?
No. Got a
Okay.
good deal.
Okay, you got to put it reasonable. Now, I just happen to be a ragtag engineer. Now, the place, I had my place. I make my own electricity, make my own heat. There's a couple of houses I've had, right? And so the house that I raised my kids up in, across the street from the Fox Theater, that's what made me start saying they took that house. The house that I had inherited from my family in Belle Isle, they took that house. The 15 houses I had over here on Harding and Cadillac and all them places over there, they took Dennis out, took them houses. So I didn't know what to do. I said, damn, I got to study some law. So that's how I became a lawyer, to study that, with all that kind of stuff went through that. But the main thing is, what I'm saying is, I took 3 of those houses and made my own power plant. And you make your own electricity, make your own heat. And it's best, because when you got heat, right?
Yes.
Okay, now what kind of heat you got? Radiator heat or forced air heat?
Forced air.
Costs a fortune.
Yes.
You want radiator. Why does radiator cost more right now than it usually cost? It leaks. By me being a fanatic, putting things together again, I built a furnace, right? A boiler. It don't leak. It took me a long time because I didn't know what I was doing the first time. I had to read my books and all that. And put the furnace together. You ever worked on a boiler?
No.
Okay, it's hard to explain that. A boiler's got fittings, you know, and they got little sections. And they're real heavy, because I was working on a 1 million BTU boiler because I had a big house. A house of 20 rooms, 8 bedrooms, right? 6 fireplaces. So I had to bring in the sections, and they're very heavy. So I had to make that heat because it was $1,000 a month to heat the house, right? So I made my own boiler and stuff like that. Heat bill went down, heat and electricity bill went down to $100 a month because I made my own system.
So let me understand. You're saying what he should do is look at how much money he needs to raise, and then find ways to save or
save that money. You'll save that money. You'll
find
make
things
money.
that you're currently doing and cut the costs.
Cut the cost.
And over time, you'll raise the money.
You don't need to borrow the money.
So,
Make your own electricity. I know.
And
Can you read? Can you do pretty good in the books? You go to the library. So I read about how Ford Motor Company was using them blast furnaces and melting that iron. I said, that's what I want to do. And I did that, made that system like that, and put that in the house, in the basement.
so basically, we're talking about
You're doing
one
your
of
self-sufficiency.
one approach is self-sufficiency and being able to save, being able to save. And I wanted to offer another thing, because as somebody that's is looking to get my credit up and my business credit up as well. What I've learned is using, like you say, you own the building,
Right.
you own the truck,
Yes.
you own the things that you own are
Assets.
assets.
Right.
And so some of the things that I've seen is, leveraging the things that you own to be able to get other, leveraging one thing to get another. And
When you say leverage, you mean
I mean, so, somebody might be able to explain this more articulately than I can, but in a summary, basically using, I wouldn't say use your house, but you own the building, which has a value, and you can kind of take equity out of these things and borrow from your building
so now
to
we're
be
back-
able to
so
use.
Now we're back at talking to the bank.
I mean, I'm saying if you want to go this route, I'm trying to answer your original question.
If
So
you want to go that route.
if you want to go that route, I'm saying that
Yeah.
the bank, you have to put yourself in the bank's shoes, which is kind of a schizophrenic thing to do, right?
Right.
It's like it's crazy, but they just want to eat. It's like a baby with a hole in its belly. They just want to eat. They want your house, they want your car, they want everything.
They hope you lose. They gamble hoping you lose every time.
Because they win.
That's right.
So I'm just saying the length, you gotta put yourself in their shoes just for a second and say, okay, what do they want? Yeah, they want you to have a nice credit score. Yeah, they want you to have, a business credit score. They want your things. And so that's just kind of where having a business plan comes in. He asks you, what do you need the money for? Which is really the important question. Like, what do you need the money for is the important question.
Yeah.
And then being able to see, okay, what is he gave you kind of a plan B.
Yeah.
What do you need the money for? And what, because that's going to determine the direction you go, in my opinion.
Expansion of his business.
Right.
You want to expand the business. Great.
Okay. Yeah, well, you know, now you want the tow truck got to be efficient, right? You got dualies.
Yes.
Okay, you got dualies. Big tires. Okay. You got nitrogen in your tires?
No.
Yeah, you want that. That'll add another 20,000 miles of wear on the tires. Now you got are you a welder?
Yes.
Okay, I'm a welder too. So, okay, when you welder, you can get nitrogen gas, right? With the air hose thing on the gauge and all that. Let all the air out you, then get by the nitrogen tank. Reasonable, because if you go to Costco and put nitrogen in your tires, I think they want about $60. But you can do it for a couple of dollars if you own your own. You get a welding tank with just nitrogen. And get your air hose, you know, for your tire hose with the gauge on
Round it up to
it. Yeah, and they want probably about 200. I don't know what that tank would cost, big tank. But you get nitrogen in your tires. Nitrogen don't get hot like air, so your tires don't wear out like that. They put nitrogen in all the airplanes. All the airplane tires got nitrogen in there. All the race cars got nitrogen because they get hot. They're doing 200 miles an hour a race car. And if you got air in the tires get hot and they blow. But with nitrogen, the tires stay cool, they don't blow.
Right.
And so,
And they don't
Let's
wear.
get back.
and so
That's
I
one
just,
thing. That's
just
taking fortune.
to answer your question, I think what we're proposing is like a multitude, like multiple options.
Yes.
One is like by being self-sufficient, you're saving, which is you're spending less and saving more. And then the other thing is using what you have to get what you need.
That's right.
And so, if you got to know the risks of going to these crazy people and asking for things.
That's right. You don't do that
But
too much.
leveraging what you have to be able to get what they want. And I would strongly suggest having a business plan. I mean, I think they're going to require you have a business plan in order to make that a sound investment for you, because you'll be putting up collateral for them to make it make sense on their end. And that's kind of like, I'm trying to fuse what you're saying and what you're saying, what we're all saying. Yeah. So we definitely thank you for your question, and like I said, we'll be around
do
after the show.
Yeah, we're going to provide contact information.
And that's
if you wanna
that's
call
the
in.
next piece. So we want to provide information for Mr. Cole, so you can y'all have any other questions y'all think of,
So I'm
you can
literature
ask and reach out, and definitely come to the financial fair on the 29th. See, because I'm sure there'll be other people, right?
Yes.
Not just yourself.
There'll be a lot of people.
There'll be other people with
I might only
experience.
speak 5 minutes there. There's going to be a bunch. There's going to be some bankers in there. It's going to be.
Well, yeah, let's
videography.
kind of get back to the meat of the show. And we didn't get a chance to highlight your institution here, Concept East Institutes.
Right.
Can you give us a little insight into what the institute does and how it was formed?
Okay. Concept East was started by Dave Rambo, and it does a lot of things. It's a community oriented organization, and it works. It's a talented oriented organization. They take the people who have talent, like videographers and playwriters and actors and things like that, and try to get these people together. Because we was in Flint a month ago with about 30 actors on stage and stuff like that. Concept East had a little bit to do with that. And so they get the people together, and we use everybody's talent and make a system, an entertainment system, that kind of thing. And a system that, a historical system that records history, because you got videographers, you got cameramen, you got writers. People can write well, And so we're using everybody's talent. Everybody puts in their 2 cents. And that's what Concept East does. And it puts them in that little flyer there. That's a little flyer there. He's got a person that's a stapler. Got a machine that does that. It staples and folds that thing. That's a regular. That's this size flyer in there. You open it up. You know, it's a machine. They've got a machine that make a book. That's Regina Ross, and that's the one that's supposed to be today, but she was stuck in there.
We're a little pressed for time, so we can highlight the financial fair and then provide the audience with a way to reach out and stay in touch with you.
Right.
We'll close out the show.
Okay.
So just want to announce again to everybody, financial fair. It's going to be at 111 East Kirby at John R. Street, and it's at the International Institute. From 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. And this is Sunday, November 29th. So this is that last Sunday of the month, right after Thanksgiving that we just talked about. Donation is $50, and there's also a Facebook, facebook.com, Concept East Institute of Business and Economics. And I want you to, can you please give them your information and where they can reach you.
Okay.
If they want to get tickets, if they want to ask more questions, things of that nature.
Okay. I'm James Cole, and you can call me at 313-918-5661. Again, 313-918-5661. Got an easy email address. My email address is flyjimmyfly@yahoo.com.
And it's FLYJIMMY.
FLY again.
FLY.
Flyjimmyfly@yahoo.com. You get on your smartphone or cell phone, tablet, you can pick me up. And I know I got about 100-some-thousand hits on that thing.
Excellent.
But,
so we want to thank you so much for joining us, and definitely have to bring you back to talk more about so the wealth of knowledge that you have. This is just a glimpse. Talk about the financial fair. I want to thank our studio audience for coming in. It was an excellent first time doing that. Really excited about that, and I want to thank our great hosts, Detroit United. Come check them out, 13313 Harper Avenue, Detroit, Michigan. Check them out. Social club. Come and have your parties, events, get some good food, people in the audience munching. So we just want to give honor to everybody that made this event possible. I'm one of your co-hosts, Mindful B.
Kojo Lee.
Info Key.
And this is ReadYO Radio, and that's our show.
Peace.